Lost by 2 points. And then, the play at the end where Michigan just flat out got hosed on Darbo's catch. I think if Michigan executes that play, they win the game. And so I'm saying it. Michigan got cheated, in my opinion. It was a poor call. And it probably had a lot to do with what was going on last week. Hey, this is the week where we're just going to just have no love for Michigan. Hey, we know he caught the ball, but if you win, then we ain't got nothing else to talk about. Because as soon as Michigan wins one game, then the conversation is going to change a little bit as far as everything being all bad. And so I think this is a winnable game. See, now everybody's seeing why 2 weeks ago I said Michigan should win their next 3 games. That was before all the drama, before I knew Devin was going to get benched. I thought Minnesota, when you watch that game, it was a winnable game for at least 2.5 quarters, okay? Rutgers, you lose by 2 points. Now, wait a minute. That's a winnable game when you really watch it. Michigan had the lead, playing, all right. Michigan's not going to stop. If you give up big plays in the secondary and you can't get to the quarterback, somebody's going to throw for 400 yards on you. It's just going to happen. And it's going to happen again this year, maybe twice. You still got Indiana. Don't be surprised. Hackenberg, this week's offensive line is not very good. So Michigan probably has the advantage up front. But if Hackenberg has time, he'll throw for 350. I'm just telling you. You still got some teams that can light it up if you don't get to the quarterback, if you miss sacks, if you don't execute on the back end, if you don't have defensive backs who have unders. See, when you're a defensive back, you're supposed to always recognize present and current danger on every play. And I'm not just saying this because we won a national title. I was trained to make sure everybody on the field, every snap, lined up the way they were supposed to and executed. And all the guys I played with will tell you that. What Vance Bedford did was put his brain in my brain and said, you're the coach on the field. I can't stop the play. This ain't practice. So that's just what that secondary is lacking. I thought Wilson stepped up and knocked some people down and tried to move around. But I think the athleticism is there, but there's a mental aspect of being a student of the game that's lacking. And sometimes that comes from not watching as much film. I used to hold my own meetings. If you didn't come to my film session, you weren't going to be on the field. That's how much Vance trusted me. So that's why we didn't have MAs. That's why Charles and Dre and everybody lined up and played. But when you got 4 smart guys back there, hey, Ray, whoa, I'm inside, but no, Charles, check out of that. Dre, jam him. Tommy, get deep. Sam, go get him. Sometimes that got nothing to do with talent. It's mental, being a student of the game, and then you can play your game.
Yeah, I got to tell you, a guy who seems like, regardless of everything else that's going on, seems like he's playing at a high level, and you just, I think, absolved him of one of the slights that he was getting in the game. You had that bunch, man. He got picked right out of the play. Man, I thought Jordan Lewis played an outstanding game under the circumstances. I mean, he was able to run. He was able to run with any guy back there. Talked a little smack while he did it. I think of all the guys on defense, he's been the most consistent guy for them this season.
I think so too. And to his credit on that play, on that underneath play where he got picked, when Blake's guy got up the field right now, then JD was picked. But what you have to do, if you're in a bunch situation, you get on different levels. The guy whoever's the number 2 defender, he lines up on the guy that's on the ball in the bunch. And you can't let him vertical.
Yeah, they didn't adjust to the bunch in that game.
Yeah, if you let him vertical, now the pick play is there. But if he doesn't get, it's just like a pick and roll. If you don't let that guy get to the spot, then it's a no play. But what JD could have done was got a little bit deeper and lined up inside and expected. You always expect the number 1 receiver to go underneath in a bunch.
And here. I mean, you're making it sound so easy, but I want to get the other side, Marcus. I want to get the other side because, man, you see this. Guys in the NFL can't guard that. I mean, I see the Denver Broncos run that formation every damn game, and teams can't stop it, man. They go against man-to-man, they go a bunch, boom, it's a guy running wide open across the middle.
Well, you got to be able to have a switch up. Sometimes you play combo where the number like you're going to play in and out on the number 1 and the number 3 receiver in the bunch. Hey, first inside, first outside. Sometimes you adjust your alignment where, like I said, JD lines up a little bit deeper at 6 yards. He gets inside. You always expect number 1 to go inside. So you get higher than the level that's supposed to pick you so you can get around it. And then if you're the guy on number 3 who's always expected to go outside, then you adjust your alignment and then you just play it like that. But the reason why it works is because some guys aren't thinkers. They don't communicate. And sometimes when you know your defensive opponent, you know how to attack. Oh, they're going to combo us. So let's run a straight and a pick so they can't get us. So that kills the combo. So You got to have guys who can adjust, think, and then understand how the defense is trying to attack you. And at the NFL, just because those guys are in the NFL making millions, don't make them thinkers. Some of those guys are not thinkers. They're see ball, get ball, phenomenal athletes, but they're not thinkers. But when you're a thinker and a player, now that's when you start talking about the Peyton Mannings and all these other guys, the Rod Woodsons and the guys that you'd be like, oh my, the Ed Reeds of the NFL.
To me, I watch that play. It's like the pick and roll in basketball. It's like, man, you throw it out there. It's a go-to that every team uses to test your man-to-man skills, to test your counting skills that you point out. And can you count?
Yeah, and like when you see an offensive team get into a formation, shift, and go in motion, they're trying to get you out of whack. Can they make adjustments? Can we outnumber them on the flank, on the perimeter, which Rutgers did to Michigan? Like when their wide receivers started going in motion, everybody should have just shifted to the right, a half a gap, and then now you got somebody out there to tackle the jet sweep. But if you stand there and don't move when they motion, they got one more than you, and then they're going to get a hat on the hat, and that's where you see the big plays. This is a thinking man's game, Sam. When everybody says you play this game from the neck up, you really do. The physical part is the easy part, the running and the hitting and the tough man. But thinking is a totally different game within the game.
And let me tell you, and we will get into this on a huge show across Michigan tomorrow because I want to give you an opportunity to say a few things about Devin's performance. But, man, I mean, this is Michigan State best defense in the league. They even get messed up, against a bunch set. It gives them fits. It gave them fits against Oregon.
Trips, bunch, any 3-by-1, it forces you to change the coverage. And you have to understand that as a defensive back. That's why when you're trained properly, you have a bunch check or some type of anticipation of what you're going to do if they come out in trips. Trips has always been a defense killer because it forces guys, it puts stress on the middle of the field. Guys get a little wider out of the box. So now you're looking saying, okay, how are they going to attack me? But trips is always going to do it. But Michigan State's problem is they're missing one thinker on the back end. And you can't trick a thinker, but you can trick a non-thinker.
All right, so Devin Gardner.
Oh, I thought, you know what? My hat goes off to DG. I thought he made some phenomenal throws. The one that Jake Butt dropped down the middle, he defeated tight coverage. Devin threw a perfect ball right over the linebacker, underneath the safety. Devin made plays with his feet, and I think his offensive line did a great job of creating pockets for Devin. I watched the tape hard, and I'm saying Devin had time to throw the ball. I think, AJ dropped the pass. Norfleet dropped one. And then early on in the game, I had people tweet me saying, oh, Devin's indecisiveness. You got to get rid of the ball. No, it was a 3-step drop. And Rutgers was in man-to-man. Everybody was covered. So the ball has to come out quick on a 3-step drop. The linemen don't even get depth. So if nobody's open, now he got to tuck and try to get out of there. But Rutgers, that one technique and that 3 technique, number 95 and number 91, they were grown men in the middle of Michigan's offense as far as Rutgers defense. They stayed in their pass rush lanes like disciplined linemen do. They got the sack. And then Funchess didn't keep he stopped his route and stood and watched. When you're in man-to-man, if you're a wide receiver and you're being covered man-to-man, you're supposed to keep running. But if it's zone, that's when you sit down in between the linebackers and find you a window. So Devin had nowhere to go. He got sacked. I know he turned the ball over that led to points, but my hat goes off to a 5th-year senior that got back in and played well. My problem is he had 8 200-yard passing games a season ago, and he has 0 this year. And so I don't know if the system is working for Devin because you can't force him to be something that he's not. He's not a drop-back pro-style quarterback. He's a kind of a dual threat, loosey-goosey. You got to get him moving around, have the routes clear and concise and what you want done. But I'm still rolling with Devin, and I thought he played excellent.
All right, well, we will get more in-depth tomorrow. Be sure to tune in to the Huge Show across Michigan, 3 to 6 p.m. Marcus and I will be going across the state of Michigan. We'll get more into Michigan. We're going to get into Michigan State and their defense as well.
Okay.
Going to break it all down. So going to have a great time. Hopefully you guys come out to see us at Meyer from 3 to 6 tomorrow. Ann Arbor, Saline Road. John Jansen will be out there starting at 5 o'clock from 5 to 7 for a meet and greet and signing autographs. There's going to be free food, giveaways. So, again, tomorrow from 3 until 7 p.m. out at the Meyer on Ann Arbor, Saline Road. Hope to see you there. Got to get to a break. We come back on the other side. Going to be joined by the trio of Michigan assistant basketball coaches, our annual roundtable. So stay tuned for that here on the Michigan Insider. Sports Talk 1050 WTKA.